Hi friends, my name is Maruti and I'm the co-founder of Cracku. In this video, we'll be looking at the quant solutions for slot 1 of CAT 2023. So try to answer the question on your own. If you're not able to get it, then look at the video solution. If you're facing any difficulty in understanding any one of the solutions, please do leave a comment below the video. I read all the comments and I'll try to answer your doubts to the best of my abilities. In this question, we are told that n is the least positive integer such that 168 is a factor of 1134 to the power n. What is 168? If you are doing the prime factorization of 168, this is 2 into 84 or this is 8 into 21. So this is 2 cube into 3 into 7. That is the prime factorization of 168. What is the prime factorization of 1134? 1134 is equal to 2 into 567. What is 567? It is 7 into 81. So this is 2 into 3 to the power 4, which is 81 into 7. What we are told is that 168 is a factor of 1134 to the power n, or 2 cube into 3 into 7 is a factor of 2 to the power n into 3 to the power 4n into 7 to the power n. This is basically 1134 to the power n. When will this happen? This will happen only if n is greater than or equal to 3. This is the power of 2. 4n is greater than or equal to 1. And n is greater than or equal to 1. All three of them have to match. All three of them have to be satisfied. That is, the power of 2 in the factor has to be less than or equal to the power of the factor in the multiple. That is, 2 cube has to be less than or equal to 2 to the power n. 3 to the power 1 has to be less than or equal to 3 to the power 4n. 7 to the power 1 has to be less than or equal to 7 to the power n. All three of them have to be satisfied, and they will be satisfied essentially if n is greater than or equal to 3. And because n is the smallest integer for which this is satisfied, the value of n is equal to 3. Once we are told this, we are also told that m is the least positive integer such that 1134 to the power n is a factor of 168 to the power m. What is 1134 to the power n? 1134 to the power n is equal to 1134 whole cube. 1134 is 2 into 3 to the power 4 into 7. So this is equal to 2 cube into 3 to the power 12 into 7 cube. This, we are told, is a factor of 168 to the power m. 168 to the power m is 2 cube into 3 into 7 whole to the power m. This is 168 to the power m. This is 2 to the power 3m into 3 to the power m into 7 to the power m. Again, if this number is a factor of this number, it would imply that 2 cube has to be less than or equal to 2 to the power 3m. That is, 3 has to be less than or equal to 3m. 3 to the power 12 has to be less than or equal to 3 to the power m. So 12 has to be less than or equal to m. And 7 cube has to be less than or equal to 7 to the power m, or 3 has to be less than or equal to m. All three of these inequalities have to be satisfied. And the smallest value of m for which this is satisfied is if m is equal to 12. So m is equal to 12, n is equal to 3. The value of m plus n will be equal to 15, which is option B. In this question, we are told that x and y are positive real numbers such that log of x square plus 12 to the base x is 4 and 3 times log x to the base y is 1. We are required to calculate the value of x plus y. If you are looking at this equation, we are going to get that x square plus 12 is equal to x to the power 4. We can factorize this. Let us assume that x square is equal to a. Therefore, x to the power 4 is equal to a square. So this equation essentially becomes equal to a plus 12 is equal to a square, or a square minus a minus 12 is equal to 0. This would imply that a minus 4 into a plus 3 is equal to 0. So the value of a is either equal to 4 or the value of a is equal to minus 3. A is x square, so it cannot be negative. So this is not true. So x square is equal to 4. So either x is 2 or minus 2. But again, we are told that x and y are positive real numbers. Also, x is part of the base of a logarithm. So x cannot be negative. So x is not equal to minus 2. So the value of x is 2. Once we know the value of x, from this equation we can calculate the value of y. Because this would imply that log of x to the base y is equal to 1 by 3. or x is equal to y to the power 1 by 3, or y is equal to x cube. X is 2, so y is equal to 8. Therefore, the value of x plus y is 2 plus 8, which is equal to 10, which is option C. In this question, we are given an equation square root of 5x plus 9 plus square root of 5x minus 9 is 3 times 2 plus root 2. We are asked to calculate the value of square root of 10x plus 9. In this question, we have one variable which is x and we have one equation. So we should be able to solve it. In these kind of questions, if you directly square this expression, you are going to get 5x plus 9 plus 5x minus 9 plus square root of 5x plus 9 into 5x minus 9, which is 25x square minus 81 is equal to the square of 3 plus 2 root 2. This looks messy because we'll have the value of x outside the square roots, we'll have the value of x inside the square root, so it just looks more complicated. The trick to solving these kind of questions is by taking one of these two to the other side. That is, we'll make this as square root of 5x plus 9 is equal to 3 plus 2 root 2. Just for the sake of explanation, let this number be equal to k. So this is equal to k minus square root of 5x minus 9. Because now if you square both of the left hand side and right hand side, we'll get 5x plus 9 is equal to k square minus 2k into square root of 5x minus 9 plus 5x minus 9. Now the difference to earlier is 5x gets cancelled. So we are going to get 2k into square root of 5x minus 9 is equal to k square minus 18. Now k is a constant, so we can calculate the value of k square. So we'll have only one term which is square root of 5x minus 9, which again we can take a square and calculate the value of x. That is what we are going to do. What is the value of k square? If k is equal to 3 times 2 plus root 2, the value of k square is equal to 9 times 4 plus 2 plus 4 root 2. This will be equal to 54 plus 36 root 2. That is the value of k square. So k square minus 18, which is the right hand side over here, will be equal to 36 plus 36 root 2. This is the value of 2 times. What is the value of k? K is 3 times 2 plus root 2 into square root of 5x minus 9. We can first cancel this 6 and divide this by 6, which will be equal to 6 plus 6 root 2. So 6 plus 6 root 2 is equal to 2 plus root 2 into square root of 5x minus 9, or root 2 into root 2 plus 1, which is basically equal to 2 plus root 2 into square root of 5x minus 9 is equal to 6 times root 2 plus 1. We can cancel root 2 plus 1. We can divide this by root 2, so this becomes 3 root 2. So the value of square root of 5x minus 9 is 3 root 2. The value of 5x minus 9 is the square of 3 root 2, which is equal to 18. Or the value of 5x is equal to 27. Or the value of x is 27 by 5. So what is the value of 10x? 10x will therefore be equal to 54. 10x plus 9 will be equal to 63. So square root of 10x plus 9 is square root of 63, which is equal to 3 times square root of 7, which is option C. In this question, we are told that x and y are real numbers such that x square plus x minus 2y minus 1 whole square minus 4y into x plus y is equal to this. We are asked to calculate the value of x minus 2y. If you are looking at the expression that is given to us, on the left hand side we have two perfect squares, and on the right hand side we have minus 4y into x plus y. So we can bring this to the other side and it becomes equal to x square plus 4xy plus 4y square plus x minus 2y minus 1 whole square is equal to 0. Now this itself is x plus 2y whole square. So this is x plus 2y whole square plus x minus 2y minus 1 whole square is equal to 0. This is the sum of two perfect squares is equal to 0. So both of them have to be individually equal to 0. So x plus 2y will be equal to 0 and x minus 2y will be equal to 1. We are asked to calculate the value of x minus 2y. So that will be equal to 1, which is option B. In this question, we are asked to calculate the number of integer solutions for 2 times modulus of x into x square plus 1 is equal to 5x square. X square plus 1 is there on the left hand side, 5x square is there on the right hand side. So what we'll use is we'll assume that modulus of x is equal to p, and p will be greater than or equal to 0 because modulus of x is always positive or at least non-negative. Now we know that x square is equal to modulus of x whole square is equal to p square. So the given equation is equal to 2 times p into p square plus 1 is equal to 5p square. Now one solution for this is that p is equal to 0, and if p is not equal to 0 we can cancel 1p over here and here. So this would be 2p square minus 5p plus 2 is equal to 0. This can be simplified to equal 2p square minus 4p minus p plus 2 is equal to 0. This is 2p minus 1 into p minus 2 is equal to 0. So the value of p is either equal to 1 by 2 or it is equal to 2. But what is p? P is equal to modulus of x. So the value of x is either equal to plus or minus 1 by 2, or the value of x is equal to plus or minus 2, or if p is equal to 0, the value of x is equal to 0. We are only looking for integer solutions. So we don't need to consider this case where x is plus or minus 1 by 2. So the value of x is either minus 2 or 0 or 2. In this question, we are given a cubic equation x cube plus 2r plus 1 into x square plus 4r minus 1 into x plus 2, and we are told that minus 2 is one of the roots. If minus 2 is one of the roots of this equation, x plus 2 has to be a factor. Because whenever you are told that a number, say 4 is a factor of a given polynomial, it would imply that x minus 4 has to be a factor. If 4 is a root, x minus 4 has to be a factor. Similarly, minus 2 is a root. So x minus of minus 2, which is x plus 2, has to be a factor of this given polynomial. So let us try to factorize this and take x plus 2 common. This would be of the form x cube plus 2x square plus 2r minus 1 into x square plus 4r minus 2 into x plus x plus 2. This is simply the value of this given polynomial. But over here, from these first two terms, we can take x plus 2 common. This will be x square into x plus 2. This will be plus 2r minus 1 into x plus 2, and this is plus 1 into x plus 2. So essentially this given polynomial is of the form x square plus 2r minus 1 into x plus 1 into x plus 2. This is equal to 0. We already know that x plus 2 is a factor because minus 2 is a root of the given polynomial. We are told that the other two roots are real. This would imply that the roots of this given quadratic equation are real. If the roots of any given quadratic equation, which is of the form ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0, are real, it would imply that the discriminant, which is equal to b square minus 4ac, has to be greater than or equal to 0. So in this particular case, the discriminant of this given quadratic equation is 2r minus 1 whole square minus 4 times 1, which is 4. This has to be greater than or equal to 0. Or 4r square minus 4r plus 1 minus 4 or minus 3 has to be greater than or equal to 0. This is 4r square minus 6r plus 2r minus 3 has to be greater than or equal to 0. This would imply that 2r minus 3 into 2r plus 1 has to be greater than or equal to 0. So either r is less than or equal to minus 1 by 2, or r is greater than or equal to 3 by 2. We are required to calculate the smallest non-negative integer value of r. So r is greater than 3 by 2, which is 1.5. So the smallest possible value of r is 2. In this question, we are told that alpha and beta are two distinct roots of the equation 2x square minus 6x plus k. We know that if you are given a quadratic equation which is of the form ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0, and if you are told that the two roots of this equation are p and q, the sum of the roots p plus q will be equal to minus b by a, and the product of the roots p into q is equal to c by a. In this particular case, the sum of the roots, which is alpha plus beta, is equal to 6 by 2, which is 3, and alpha into beta is equal to k by 2. For the second equation, the roots are alpha plus beta and alpha beta. So alpha plus beta is equal to minus p, and the product of the roots alpha plus beta into alpha beta is equal to p, which is the constant term. So we can get an equation. What is the value of alpha plus alpha beta? That is 3 plus k by 2 is equal to minus of 3 into k by 2, or 3 plus k by 2 is equal to minus 3k by 2, or 3 plus 2k is equal to 0, or the value of k is equal to minus 3 by 2. This is the value of k. Now what are we required to calculate? We are required to calculate the value of p. P is alpha plus beta, which is 3 into alpha beta into 3k by 2 is equal to p. That is 3 into minus 3 by 2 is equal to p whole by 2. Or the value of p is minus 9 by 4. This is 3 into minus 3 by 2 is k divided by 2. 3 into k by 2 is p. So p is minus 9 by 4. So what is the value of k minus p? K minus p will be minus 3 by 2 plus 9 by 4, which is equal to by 4, and this will be 3. So what is the value of 8 times k minus p? That will be 8 times 3 by 4, which is equal to 6. So the answer for this question is 6.
Google search Cracku free cat mock. Click on the first link. You can attempt a free mock test which was attempted by 30,000 cat aspirants in the actual exam format. After completing the test, you get detailed solutions, analysis and percentile along with your scorecard to gauge your All India performance. Click on the solution to get video solutions from our expert faculty.
In this question, we are told that there is a mixture P that was formed by removing and replacing some coffee from a coffee jar and replacing it with cocoa powder. So let us assume that this is the coffee jar. Initially, some amount of coffee is replaced with cocoa and a mixture P is formed. If the same process is repeated again, you get mixture Q. So again, from mixture P, certain amount of coffee is replaced with cocoa powder. Let us assume that the initial volume of the coffee jar is V. The amount of coffee that is replaced with, say, cocoa is, let us assume, is equal to A. Then the amount of coffee in mixture P will be V minus A. And the amount of cocoa will be A. In mixture Q, what is the amount of coffee? We know that the amount of coffee will be V minus A divided by V whole square. This will be the fraction of coffee that is there in mixture Q. If the process is repeated a third time, the amount will be V minus, or the fraction will be V minus A divided by V whole cube, and so on. That is, for example, if you have a 1000 ml solution of clear water, of which 100 ml is replaced with milk, the amount of milk will be the amount of water will be 0.9. If this process is repeated 2 times, the amount of milk will be 0.81. If this is repeated 3 times, it will be 0.729. We are essentially making it as 0.9 whole to the power n. Similarly, over here, if A amount is being replaced with cocoa powder, initially all of this V is coffee. After the first time, that is, the percentage of coffee is 100%. After replacing it for the first time, the percentage of coffee will be V minus A divided by V. After replacing it for the second time, the percentage of coffee will be V minus A by V whole square, and so on. Here what we are told is that the ratio of coffee to cocoa in mixture Q is 16:9. So the ratio of coffee to cocoa is 16:9, or the fraction of coffee is 16 divided by 25, which is 16 plus 9. This is the fraction of coffee in mixture Q. This would imply that the fraction of coffee in mixture P will be 4 by 5, which is basically the square root of 16 by 25. See how this actually works. So if you assume that the initial volume of the coffee jar is, say, 1000 ml, the amount of coffee in mixture P will be 800, the amount of cocoa will be 200. Similarly, in mixture Q, the amount of coffee will be 640 and the amount of cocoa will be 360. How did we get 640? It is just 16 by 25 into 1000. So now the required ratio is the amount of cocoa in mixture P, which is 200, to that of mixture Q, which is 360. So the required ratio is 200 is to 360, which is equal to 5 is to 9. So the correct answer is option C. In this question, we are told that the angle between the hour hand and the minute hand is observed at 8:48. 8:48 will be something like this. This is 8:48 AM. Now the minimum duration in minutes after 8:48 AM when the angle increases by 50%. That is what we are required to calculate. Let us first calculate the angle over here between the hour hand and the minute hand at 8:48. How can we calculate it? At 8 o'clock, it will look something like this. The minute hand will be exactly vertical. The hour hand will be at exactly 8. It will be something like this. So the hour hand will be over here. This angle will be 240 degrees. Every single minute, the angle traversed by a minute hand is 6 degrees. And every single minute, the angle traversed by the hour hand is equal to half degrees. How do we know it? Because a minute hand will go the entire way from the start of 12 till the end in 1 hour. So it covers 360 degrees in 60 minutes. So every minute it will cover 6 degrees. And hour hand will traverse only from 8 to 9 or from 9 to 10. So it will traverse 1/12 of 360 degrees, that is 30 degrees in 1 hour. So every minute it will traverse 1/2 degrees. At 8:48, that is 48 minutes after 8, what is the angle traversed by the minute hand? This angle. That angle will be 48 into 6, which is equal to 288 degrees. What is the angle traversed by the hour hand? This angle. Initially it was 240 degrees at 8 o'clock. And in the 48 minutes, it will traverse another 48 by 2, that is 24 degrees. This is 264. So this angle over here is 288. This angle over here is 264. So this difference, this angle between both the hands will be equal to 288 minus 264, which is 24 degrees. If the angle increases by 50%, that angle becomes 36 degrees, which is equal to 1.5 into 24. Suppose it becomes 36 degrees x minutes after 8. So what is the angle traversed by the minute hand? That will be 6x. What is the angle traversed by the hour hand? That will be minus, again like earlier, initially it was 240 degrees plus x by 2. This we are told is equal to 36. We have to calculate the value of x, or 11x by 2 is equal to 240 plus 36, which is 276, or the value of x is equal to 276 into 2 by 11, which is equal to 552 by 11. So how much time has elapsed since 8:48? This will be 552 by 11 minus 48. This is equal to 552 minus 528 divided by 11, which is equal to 24 by 11 minutes. So the answer for this question is option D. In this question, we are told that Geeta sells two objects A and B at the same price. So we have A, we have B. Let the selling price of both be equal to X. On A, she makes a profit of 20%. So the cost price of A is X divided by 1 plus 20%, which is 1.2. And on B, she makes a loss of 10%. So the cost price of B is B divided by 1 minus 10%, which is 0.9. Now she increases the selling price of the objects and still sells them at an equal price, such that she makes a profit of 10% on object B. So what is the new selling price of B? This is the cost price, but she's making a 10% profit on this. So it will be 1 plus 10%, which is 1.1 into X divided by 0.9. Because the selling prices are still the same, the new selling price of A also is 1.1x divided by 0.9. This is the cost price of A, this is the new selling price. So what is the profit? The profit will be 1.1x divided by 0.9, which is 11x by 9, minus the cost price, which is x divided by 1.2, which is 5 by 6x. This is equal to, by 18, this is 22x minus 15x, which is equal to 7x by 18. This is the profit. So what is the profit percentage? Profit percentage is profit divided by cost price. So this is 7x by 18 divided by x divided by 1.2 is 5x by 6. into 100. This is equal to 7 into 100 divided by 15. This is equal to 140 by 3, which is equal to 46.66%. The profit percentage is closest to 47% amongst the options, so that will be the correct answer. In this question, we are told that Bristi started an 8-hour trip in a car and she saw the meter and it was a whole number which is also palindromic. And after she finished the trip, she covered the total distance traveled is 26,862, which also is palindromic. We are told that she never drove at more than 110 kilometers per hour. What does this imply? This implies that the total distance that is traveled has to be less than or equal to 110 into the time, which is 8, which is 880. So the total distance that she traveled in this trip cannot be more than 880. So what would this imply? At the start of the trip, the reading has to be, this is the reading at the end. So the start has to be greater than this. This would be 2, this is 8, this is 9, this is 5, and this is 2. Because if it is less than this, for example, if the starting the meter reading is at 25,000, it would imply that the total distance traveled is 1862, which is 1800 kilometers, greater than 1800. Because she didn't travel more than 880 kilometers, the starting reading has to be greater than or equal to 25982. We know that it is palindromic. And this number has to lie between 25982 and 26862. This would imply, first of all, that the last number has to be 2 and 2. The last number and the first number has to be 2 and 2 because it is the same. This number, if you assume is A, this number also will be A and the middle number is B. What are the values that A can take? Can A be equal to, A is either 5 or 6. Can A be equal to 5? If A is equal to 5, this will be 2, 5, B, 5, 2. Now, even if the value of B is 9, this number will be 25952, which is actually less than 25982. This would imply that this number cannot be equal to 5. Because if you assume that this is 25952, the total distance traveled will be actually 910 kilometers. It will be greater than 880 kilometers. So it cannot be 5. So this has to be 6. So what we can infer is that this number is 6, this number is 6. What are the values B can take? Now there is no condition on B. Why is there no condition on B? Because this number lies between 26062 and 26862. Any of the number, any of the values that B takes, either 0 or 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7, probably not 8, any of them will satisfy this condition. The total distance will be less than or equal to 880 kilometers. So now if you are trying to maximize the speed, which is what we are required to do, you want the distance covered to be as high as possible. So we'll make B to be equal to 0. So essentially what we are saying is that the meter reading at the start is 26062. The total distance traveled is therefore 26862 minus 26062, which is 800 kilometers. And therefore the speed is 100 kilometers per hour, which is option C. In this question, we are told that the average marks of 4 girls and 6 boys is 24. Every girl got the same marks. Every boy also got the same marks. So let the number of marks received by every girl be equal to G. Number of marks received by every boy be equal to B. So the total marks received by 4 girls plus 6 boys will be equal to 240. Because the average of this 4 plus 6, that is 10 students, is 24. So the total marks is 24 into 10, which is 240. What we are told is that the marks of any girl, G, is at most double of any boy. So G is less than or equal to 2B. And it is greater than or equal to the marks of received by any boy. So what we are essentially told is that G lies between B and 2B. What we are required to calculate is the number of distinct possible integer values for the marks received by 2 girls and 6 boys. 2G plus 6B essentially is equal to 4G plus 6B minus 2G. That is the value of 2G plus 6B. 4G plus 6B is equal to 240. So what we are required to calculate is the number of integer values that this can take. So clearly, if we can get an idea about the number of integer values that 2G can take, getting this answer will be easy. We are required to essentially calculate the bounds of 2G. Now because G lies between B and 2B, we know that 6B will be greater than or equal to 3G. And we also know that 6b is less than or equal to 6g. Why are we saying this? Because 4g plus 6b because 6b is greater than or equal to 3g, 4g plus 6b will be greater than or equal to 7g. And because 6b is less than or equal to 6g, 4g plus 6b will be less than or equal to 10g. Essentially, this 4g plus 6b will be greater than 7g, greater than or equal to, and less than or equal to 10g. This is equal to 240. So g is greater than or equal to 24 from this side of the inequality, and 7g is less than or equal to 240, or the value of g is less than or equal to 240 by 7. So we got the bounds for g, but we need the bounds for 2g. So 2g is greater than or equal to 48, and 2g is less than or equal to 480 by 7. What is the value of 480 by 7? 490 by 7 is 70. 480 by 7 will be 68 4 by 7. Because 68 into 7 will be equal to 476 plus 4 by 7. So 2g will lie between 48 and 68 4 by 7. So 240 minus 2g will lie between 192 on the higher side, and the lower side will be 240 minus 68 4 by 7, which is equal to 171 3 by 7. So this number 240 minus 2g is greater than or equal to 171 3 by 7 and less than or equal to 192. We are only looking for distinct integer values. So the distinct integer values it can take is 172 or 173 or ... till 192. And how many such values exist? There are 21 such integer values. So the answer for this question is option A. In this question, we are told that the salary of three friends, Sita, Geeta and Meeta, were initially in the ratio of 5:6:7. So this is Sita, this is Geeta, and this is Meeta. The ratio is 5:6:7. So let us assume that the initial salary of Sita is 5x. So that of Geeta is 6x and Meeta is 7x. They get a salary hike of 20%, 25% and 20%. So the new salary of Sita is 5x into 1 plus 20%, which is 6x. New salary of Geeta is 6x into 1 plus 25%, which is 7.5x. And new salary of Meeta is 7x into 1 plus 20%, which is 8.4x. Now, Sita and Meeta get hikes of 40% and 25%. So what is the new salary of Sita? It is 6x into 1 plus 40%, which is 8.4x. And 8.4x into 1 plus 20%, which is 1.25, which will be 10.5x. We are told that the salary of Geeta is the mean of the salary of the three friends. So basically what we are told is Geeta is equal to S plus G plus M divided by 3, or 3G is equal to S plus G plus M, or the value of G is equal to S plus M divided by 2, which is equal to 8.4x plus 10.5x divided by 2, which is equal to 18.9x divided by 2. This is equal to 9.45x. This is the salary of Geeta. So how much salary hike did she get? Her salary before the start of the year was 7.5x. After it, it was 9.45x. So the increase is 9.45x minus 7.5x, which is 1.95x, divided by 7.5x into 100, which is equal to 195 divided by 7.5, which is equal to 390 divided by 15, which is equal to 26%. So the salary hike is option C, which is 26%. In this question, we are told that Arvind travels from town A to town B and Surbhi travels from town B to town A. So we have A and B over here. This is A and this is B. Arvind is traveling from A to B and Surbhi is traveling from B to A. After they meet, let us assume that they meet somewhere over here. Arvind takes 6 hours to reach B and Surbhi takes 24 hours to reach A. Now we know the formula to calculate the ratio for the speed of Arvind to the speed of Surbhi. What is that formula? that will be square root of the inverse of the times taken by them. What is the time taken by Surabhi? It is 24. What is the time taken by Arvind? It is 6. So the ratio of their speeds is 2. We are given that the speed of Arvind is 54 kilometers per hour. So if the speed of Arvind is 54 kilometers per hour, the speed of Surabhi is 27 kilometers per hour. If you assume that their meeting point is C, this distance therefore will be 6 into 54. What is 6 into 54? It is 324. And this distance will be 24 into 27. What is 24 into 27? It is 648. So the total distance between A and B is 648 plus 324, which is 972 kilometers. So the answer for this question is 972. If you are wondering how we got the square root of the inverse ratio of the times, if you assume that the speed of Arvind is say SA and the speed of Surabhi is say SB, let us assume that initially the time taken by them is T to meet. That is, the distance between A and C will be SA into T. And the distance between C and B will be SB into T. We know that the time taken by Arvind to go from C to B is 6 hours. That is, SB into T divided by SA is 6. We know that the time taken by Surabhi to go from C to A is 24 hours. So SA into T divided by SB is 24. If you just divide one by the other, you are going to get that SA square divided by SB square is equal to 24 by 6, which is 4. Or the required ratio is square root of this, which is 2. If you know the formula already, just take the inverse of the square root of the ratio of the times. So if Surabhi has taken 24 hours and Arvind has taken 6 hours, the ratio of the speed of Arvind to Surabhi is square root of 24 by 6, which will be 2. Anyway, the answer for this question is 972 kilometers.
We at Cracku provide all the previous year CAT papers along with many other MBA examinations such as XAT, SNAP, MAT, CMAT, TEST and PGDBA in the actual exam format. You can attempt them as a test and get a detailed analysis of your performance or download them as PDFs.
In this question, we are told that Anil invests 22,000 for 6 years in a certain income at a rate of interest of 4% per annum compounded half yearly. So what is the total amount that he will get? The total amount he will get will be 22,000, which is the principal, into 1.02 to the power 12. Why is it the case? Because this is compounded half yearly. If an interest is compounded yearly, the amount will be principal into 1 plus rate of interest divided by 100 whole to the power n. If it is compounded semi-annually, that is, if it is compounded twice every year, the amount will be principal into 1 plus r by 2 to the power, divided by 100 to the power 2n. So we basically divide the rate of interest by 2 and we multiply the time period with 2. So in this particular case, this will be 12 time periods. The rate of interest effectively for every time period is 2%. This is the same as the amount that Sunil invests for 5 years. So let us assume that Sunil invests amount P. What is the amount at the end of 5 years? It will be into 1.02 to the power 10. Because the rate of interest is the same, the time period is now 5 years. And at the end of 5 years, this is the amount he will receive. He invests this in a simple interest for 10% for 1 year. So again, you multiply this with 1.1. Both of them have to be the same. Using this equation, we can calculate the value of P. So you can cancel this. This will be 1.02 whole square. 1.02 whole square will be 1.0404. 22,000 divided by 1.1 is 20,000. So the answer is 20,000 into 1.0404, which is equal to 20,808. This is the amount that Sunil invested at the start. So the answer for this question is 20808. In this question, we are told that the amount of work done by Amal, Sunil and Kamal is in a harmonic progression. We are told that Kamal takes twice as much time as Amal to do the same amount of job. So essentially, we are told that the efficiency of Kamal, who is taking twice as much time, is half that of Amal. So if Kamal does X units of work in a particular day, Amal will be doing 2x units of work because Amal finishes the job in half the time. So he is doing twice the same amount of work as Kamal in the same time. Because these three are in a harmonic progression, we can calculate the amount of work done by Sunil. How can we do that? If A and B are two numbers, their harmonic mean, that is the middle term, will be equal to 2ab divided by a plus b. This is the harmonic mean of a and b. What is the harmonic mean of 2x and x? The harmonic mean of 2x and x will be 2 times 2x into x divided by 2x plus x, which is 3x. This is equal to 4x by 3. So the amount of work done by Sunil in the same time will be 4x by 3. What we are told is that if Amal works for 4 days, Sunil works for 9 days, then Kamal has to work for 16 days to finish the job. Or the total work that needs to be done is equal to 4 into 2x, which is 8x, plus 9 into 4x by 3, which is equal to 12x, plus 16 into x, which is 16x. This is equal to 36x. So how many days will Sunil alone take to finish the job? That will be 36x divided by 4x by 3, which is equal to 27 days. So the answer for this question is 27. In this question, we are given a circle which is x square plus y square plus 4x minus 6y minus 3 is equal to 0. So this, you can complete a perfect square. This is x square plus 4x plus y square minus 6y is equal to 3. You add a 4 here and a 4 here. You add a 9 here and a 9 here. So this is x plus 2 whole square plus y minus 3 whole square is equal to 16. So this is basically a circle. The center of the circle is minus 2, 3, and the radius of the circle is square root of 16, which is equal to 4. Now suppose there is a point over here such that if you are drawing two tangents from this point to the circle, the angle between the tangents is 60 degrees. How can we calculate the locus of that point? What exactly is locus? Locus basically means what is the equation that this point has to satisfy. Let us assume that this is a point A and let the coordinates of x and y, let the coordinates of A be x and y. So what is the property that x and y satisfy? If you know the property that x and y satisfies, that is called the locus. Now to be honest, right now we don't know whether this will be a circle, whether this will be another curve, this will be a straight line, we don't know. Or whether this will be a single point, that also we don't know. We just know that what locus means is what is the equation that this point x comma y has to satisfy. Now we know that the information we know is that this is 60 degrees. And if you join the center to the point of intersection of the tangent and the circle, this will be 90 degrees. The radius of the circle we know is 4 units. So this is 4. If the center is O, if you join A to O, because the tangents are intersecting at 60 degrees, this angle over here will be half of it, which is 30 degrees. Therefore, the length of AO will be 8 units. Why is that the case? Because if you are assuming that this is a right angle triangle ABO, one side is 4 units, one angle is 30 degrees, the other one is a right angle. This would imply that BO divided by AO is equal to sine 30 degrees, which is equal to 1 by 2. Using this, we can calculate that AO is equal to 8 units. Now we can get an equation that x comma y has to satisfy, because this point x comma y has to be at a distance of 8 units from this point O, which is minus 2 comma 3. So x plus 2 whole square plus y minus 3 whole square has to be equal to 8 square, which is 64. This is the equation that x and y has to satisfy, or to put it in another way, this is the locus of the point A. Now what are we required to calculate? What is the point at which this locus touches the line x is equal to 6? Basically, we are saying what is the point of intersection of this curve, which is basically a circle, and the line x is equal to 6. When x is equal to 6, 6 plus 2 whole square is 8 square. So 8 square plus y minus 3 whole square is equal to 64. Or y minus 3 whole square will be 0, or y will be equal to 3. So the point of intersection is 6 comma 3, which is option B. In this question, we are told that there is a quadrilateral ABCD which is inscribed in a circle. So it is a circular quadrilateral. It will look something like this. This is a circle. Let us assume that this is the quadrilateral. This is AB, and this is CD. This is BC, and this is A, B, C, and D, and BD and AC intersect at E. So this is BD, and this is AD. This is E. AB is to CD is given, that is 2:1. So let us assume that this is 2x and this is x. Similarly, BC is to AD is given, this is 5:4. So let this be 5y, let this be 4y. Now we can see a couple of similar triangles. One similar triangle is AED is similar to BEC. Another similar triangle is ABE is similar to DEC. I'll explain why these two are similar. Then you can infer the same for the second pair also. If you're looking at AED and BEC, this angle is the same as this angle because both of them are the angle subtended by the chord AB at the circumference. So both of them are the same. Similarly, both these also will be the same because this is the angle subtended by the chord CD at the circumference. And the third angle will obviously be the same. This also is the same. So if you assume that the length of AE is P, what can we infer about the length of B? We are looking at AED and BEC. So AE divided by BE is equal to 4y divided by 5y, which is equal to 4 by 5, or the length of BE will be equal to 1.25 p. So this is equal to 1.25 p. Similarly, if you assume that the length of ED is Q, the length of CE is 1.25 Q. What are we required to calculate? We are required to calculate the ratio of AE is to CE. That is, we are required to calculate the ratio of P divided by 1.25 Q. So we need to calculate the ratio of P and Q. For that, we will use the other set of similar triangles, which is ABE and CED. Because both of them are similar, the ratio of AB divided by CD will be the same as the ratio of P, which is AE. AE is opposite this angle, and in this will be this, which will be AE divided by DE. This is equal to 2:1. What is AB by CD? That is 2:1. So AE divided by DE has to be 2:1. AE is equal to P, DE is equal to Q. So P by Q is equal to 2:1, or P is equal to 2Q. Once you know that P is equal to 2Q, you can figure out the ratio of AE is to CE. AE will be P, which is 2Q. CE is 1.25Q. So the required ratio is 2:1.25, which is equal to 8 by 5. So the answer for this question is option C. Just to reiterate, if you draw a quadrilateral like this is ABCD, which is a cyclical quadrilateral. This is A, B, C and D. We have the diagonals which intersect at a point E. This is E. First, because you know that this is 2x, this is x, this is 5y, this is 4y. First, using one set of similar triangles, you will calculate that if this is P, this will be 1.25 P, because AED is similar to BEC, and if this is Q, this will be 1.25 Q, because that ratio of the sides of these two triangles is 5:4. Using another set of similar triangles, you will calculate that P by Q will be equal to 2:1. Here we are using the similar triangles AEB is similar to CED. So P by Q is 2:1. So the required ratio is P divided by 1.25 Q. P is 2Q. So this is 8:5. So the answer for this question is option C. In this question, we are told that in a right angle triangle ABC, the altitude AB is 5 centimeters, the base BC is 12 centimeters. So let us assume that this is how the right angle triangle is. This is A, B and C. This is A, B and C. AB is 5 centimeters, BC is 12 centimeters. P and Q are points on BC such that the areas of ABP. So let us assume that this is on BC, right? So wait, this is ABP, ABQ, and ABC are in an arithmetic progression. So this is P, this is Q. If the area of triangle ABC is 1.5 times that area of triangle ABP, find the length of PQ in centimeters. What is the area of triangle ABC? The area of triangle ABC is half into 5 into 12, which is equal to 30 centimeters square. So the area of triangle ABP will be 30 divided by 1.5, which is 20 centimeters square. So the area of ABP is 20 centimeters square. So what is the length of BP? If you assume that this is X, half into 5 into X is equal to 20, or the value of X is 8 centimeters. So this will be 8 centimeters. This overall is 12 centimeters. What is the area of ABQ? Because we know that ABP is 20 centimeters square, ABC is 30 centimeters square, and if ABP, ABQ and ABC are in arithmetic progression, the area of ABQ will have to be 25 centimeters square. So half into BQ into AB, which is 5 centimeters, is equal to 25, or the value of BQ will be equal to 10 centimeters. So this over here is 10 centimeters. This is 8 centimeters. So the length of PQ will be equal to 2 centimeters. So the answer for this question is 2. In this question, we are told that there are some positive distinct real numbers x, y and z. We are told that the arithmetic mean of 1 by square root of x plus z and 1 by square root of x plus y is equal to 1 by square root of y plus z. What this would imply is that 1 by square root of x plus square root of z plus 1 by square root of x plus square root of y is equal to 2 by square root of y plus square root of z. Now we are required to calculate the relationship between x, y and z. If you are simplifying the left hand side, this is equal to square root of x plus square root of y plus square root of x plus square root of z divided by square root of x plus square root of z into square root of x plus square root of y is equal to 2 by square root of y plus square root of z. This seems very complicated, which involves a lot of square roots, but if you just cross multiply and simplify, you will get a fairly simple equation. How do we get that? We just cross multiply. This is 2 times square root of x plus square root of y plus square root of z into square root of y plus square root of z. What is the value of it? That will be equal to 2 times square root of xy plus 2 times square root of xz plus y plus square root of yz plus square root of yz plus z. What is this? This is just 2 times square root of x plus square root of y plus square root of z into square root of y plus square root of z. This has to equal 2 times square root of x plus z into square root of x plus square root of y. That is equal to 2 times x plus square root of xz plus square root of xy plus square root of yz. Now you will notice that on the left hand side we have 2 times square root of xy, we will cancel this. On the left hand side we have 2 times square root of xz, we will cancel this. We also have square root of yz 2 times, so we will cancel this. So what is the equation we have? We have the equation y plus z is equal to 2 times x. What does this imply? It implies that y, x and z are in an arithmetic progression, which is option B. In this question, we are asked to calculate the number of natural numbers up to 1000 with non-repeating digits. If you are looking at single digit natural numbers, all of them will have unique digits because there is only one digit in them, and those numbers are from 1 to 9, and so we will have 9 of them. Suppose we are looking at double digit natural numbers, that is the numbers from 10 to 99. It will have 2 digits. The first digit can be any number from 1 to 9. It cannot be 0. So this can be represented in 9 ways. The second digit can be any of the numbers including 0, which is not the first number. So this can be another 9. So the total is 81. If you're looking at 3-digit natural numbers, you will have 3 digits. The first digit can be again any number which is not equal to 0 from 1 to 9. So it can be selected in 9 ways. The second digit can be 0, but we have to ignore the first digit. So it can be selected in 9 ways. The third digit cannot be the first digit and the second digit. So it can be any one of the remaining 8 digits. This is 9 into 9 into 8, which is 648. So the total number of natural numbers which are less than 1000 with non-unique digits is 648 plus 81 plus 9, which is equal to 738. So the answer for this question is option C.
Google search Cracku CAT formulas PDF. Click on the first link. You will get a list of topics for CAT. Click on one of the topics. Download the PDF to get a list of formulas for the topic.
In this question, we are told that there is a lab experiment where the number of organisms are measured every day at 8 a.m. On the first day, there were 2 organisms. On the second day, we have 3 more than twice that number. Twice that number is 4, 3 more than that is 7. On the next day, we have 3 more than twice that number. Twice that number is 14, 3 more than that is 17. The next day, we will have 3 more than twice the number, so that will be 37, and so on. Let us assume that on the nth day, the number of organisms is Tn. We need to calculate a formula for Tn. To calculate a formula for Tn, this is an arithmetic or geometric progression where there is a common ratio between terms and a number is added to it. This kind of a series is called an arithmetic geometric progression. So let us assume that S is the sum of all the terms till Tn. That is, S is 2 plus 7 plus 17 plus 37 plus ... till Tn. Although we don't need to calculate the sum, just assuming that this is S makes things very easy. Why does it make easy? Because you can also write S as 2 plus 7 plus 17 plus ... plus Tn minus 1 plus Tn. We have just shifted each of the term 1 to the right. Now if you subtract the first equation from the second equation, the left hand side will be 0. S minus S is 0. The right hand side is 2 plus 7 minus 2 is 5 plus 17 minus 7 is 10 plus 37 minus 17 is 20 plus ... plus this will be, you can see that this is a geometric progression where the first term is 5 and the common ratio is 2. So this is into 5 into 2 to the power n minus 2 plus Tn. Sorry, this will be minus Tn. Or the value of Tn, which is the nth term, is equal to 2 plus, you take 5 common and it will be 1 plus 2 plus ... plus 2 to the power n minus 2. This is a geometric progression. The sum of this geometric progression will be 2 to the power n minus 1 minus 1. So Tn is equal to 2 plus 5 into 2 to the power n minus 1 minus 5, which is equal to 5 into 2 to the power n minus 1 minus 3. You can substitute the value of n to be equal to 1. If n is 1, this will be equal to 2, which satisfies. If n is equal to 2, 5 into 2 minus 3 will be 7. If n is 3, it will be 5 into 2 square, that is 4. So that is 20 minus 3, which is 17. So you can see that the pattern is actually matching. Now for what value of n will this cross 1 million? So we want 5 into 2 to the power n minus 1 minus 3 to be greater than 1 million for the first time. This is 1000, 10,000, 1 lakh, 1 million. You can put this side. So basically we want 2 to the power n minus 1 to cross 2 lakhs 0.6 for the first time. What is the value of n minus 1? We know that 2 to the power 10 is equal to 1024. 2 to the power 7 is equal to 128. So you can infer that 2 to the power 17 will be something like 1.2 or 1.3 lakhs. So 2 to the power 18 for the first time will be greater than 2 lakhs. So the value of n minus 1 will be 18 for the first time, or the value of n has to be 19. So the answer for this question is 19.